Welcome, beloveds. Welcome to the sacredness of a divine moment on this winter solstice day. This day, the 21st of December, is winter solstice. And winter solstice is the longest night of the year, where there is a predominating frequency or presence of darkness. We have the opportunity to address the shadows, the difficulties, and many times during this time of year, the end of the year, many challenges happen for people. Many of us experience those loved ones that transition, cross over. Sometimes sicknesses tend to show up. The shadow frequency can be really strong, and yet there is always a polar alignment with light, because directly opposite the longest night of the year is summer solstice, wherein there is the longest day of the year. Just as in the yin-yang symbol, you see it's divided into the white and the black. And within the white part of the yin-yang, there is a small black circle or black dot. And in the black, there is a small white dot, emphasizing the fact that even in the midst of darkness or difficulties, that even that darkness can be a profound access code into light. There is a correlation, a connection, because every time is now, every space is here, and everyone is us. Everyone is you, everyone is me. So even in the midst of trials, when there are times of trials, by virtue of the fact that every time is now, side by side, in the moment of trials, are moments of great light. And the distinction is not a separation, as in from one space to another. The distinction is in different frequencies. So when in a moment of shadow, difficulty, or darkness, just know a slight turn of the dial of awareness to the channel of light can be a means by which the light swallows up the darkness. Just as when you walk into a dark room and turn the light on, the darkness is swallowed up by the light. And we have multiple versions of who we are, even when we have a version of self that is in a moment of fear, in a moment of despair and difficulty. There are multiple versions of ourselves that are in the greatest elevation of light. And just that slight shifting of the dial of awareness to the elevated versions of the light. And so right now, I'd like for you to join with me in laying onto the altar of God Almighty, onto the altar of the Most High, any difficulties, any trials, any tribulations, any sicknesses, physically, mentally, emotionally. We lay it all on the altar of Creator Source, because we know the center of everything is a profound place of light and love. Light and love owns the center. The difficulties, the trials, the tribulations, they are always operating from the surface. They cannot operate from the center because they're not co-eternal with God. You're co-eternal with God. I am every one of us that carries breath within us. And breath is, in fact, God hiding in plain sight inside of each of us. If you want to know God, then know your breath. If you want to know God, Goddess, absolute, then be in the embrace of your breath. Every deep breath is a prayer for life. Every deep breath lengthens lifespan. With every deep breath, we ingest more of the Most High God, because God is breath, hiding in plain sight in the central core of our being. And now I'm going to offer a vocal harmonic. Think about this. Feel about this. What do you want to place on the altar of the Most High? What difficulties are you ready to let go of? And also, not just for yourself. Hold this intention that every being in all existence that's experiencing any kind of difficulty would receive this grace, would receive this moment of benevolent energy. So, beloved Creator Source, we lay all of our burdens, difficulties, fears, and pains upon your sacred altar. And we know at the central core of all of these adverse energies is pure light. We call forth the light to swallow up the darkness, to swallow up the shadows, to bring us into the elevation of God realization. We offer these tones to therefore receive from the Most High unto all of these difficulties the blessing, the anointing, the baptism, and the quickening. Here we go. Here we fly. Isn't it wonderful, beloveds, that you love yourself so much that you just co-created that download? And I mean you that are right here in this now moment of the live, and even you who are in the future now moment catching the replay of this live. I am not only communicating with those who are with me in this now moment of linear time, I transcend time and feel the at-one-ment with every being who will partake of this in the future now. Because every moment of now is a hologram of every other now. As every moment of time is a hologram for eternity. And so we wrap our arms around the frequency of eternity, recognizing our eternal nature. And by virtue of our eternal nature, each and every one of us are infinitely more than our pain, infinitely more than our trials and tribulations, infinitely more than sickness, infinitely more than relationship breakups, infinitely more than loved ones that pass on into spirit. We are meant to be empowered by everything. Thank you for remembering that, beloved. Thank you for remembering and knowing that when you elevate into the full glory of who you are, there is an infinite and eternal quickening in the fabric of the universe. The expansion of the universe is at the mercy of your elevated joy. The expansion of the universe is at the mercy of your elevated wisdom, your elevated love. When we dance in the resonance of love, of joy, of bliss, of peace, then the universe expands into a more glorious universe by the grace of God that has placed the qualitative spirit essence of God's own macrocosmic divinity that now lives as a microcosmic divinity in the inner sanctum of our being. And so on this solstice day, this solstice night, we shift the dial of our awareness to every version of who we are that is transcendent above and beyond the holiday blues. many times people who've experienced difficulty during these celebratory holiday times get what is called the holiday blues. You know, when so many others are doing everything that they can do to be in the spirit of celebration and joy, there's a great number of us who get caught in the holiday blues. But it's beyond a holiday. I say to you, happy, holy days. Holy as in H-O-L-Y, and holy as in W-H-O-L-L-Y. Wholeness. Happy, holy days. Holy, H-O-L-Y, as in resonate with the sacredness of these times. And we milk the miracle out of the shadows of darkness. We milk the miracle of light out of the shadows of darkness. And during these holiday times, beloveds, make sure to align with your integrity. Many during these times get out of integrity with themselves and spend major amounts of time with family and friends that they sometimes hate being around or really just dislike being around, but because they feel they're supposed to do it because it's family. See, Creator Source does not require that we be up close and personal with anybody, but rather that we always keep our heart big and wide and open. And sometimes the highest integrity within us has to say, do your life and grow and get clear. I'm loving you from over here. And sometimes I'm loving you from way over here. So whatever time you spend with family and relatives, make sure you're in fullness of heart, that you're able to do it with joy, and make sure that you don't overeat relative to how much company you partake of. If it's weighing heavily on you and you're seething with resentment inside, then you know that you need to back up just a little bit. But always keeping the heart open, making sure to stay within the love vibration. But sometimes you have to love certain beloveds from a little bit of a distance. And in that way, you're able to love them even better because you're not unkindly contaminating your frequency with something that isn't a match for you. Not saying that they are a contamination, but if something is not a match for you, then it could possibly contaminate your frequency. And so, Divine Creator, we align with the stillness of winter solstice, a frequency wherein we can do the deep soul dive. And so we go deep sea diving into the soul of who we are, deep sea diving into the ocean of our soul. And we recover our inheritance, our trust fund of the great treasures that exist within us. For we are, each and every one of us, the micro container of all of the treasures that exist within all of life, all the way down the corridors of forever. Every great thing emerges from the inner sanctum of who we are. And by virtue of that truth, it means that we have every blessing that we will ever objectively partake of. For all of those blessings that will objectively manifest are even now subjectively owned by each and every one of us, because all blessings live in the inner sanctum of our being. And not just the blessings that are ours individually, but even the blessings of the collective. Because each of us are a hologram of the whole of the universe, multiverse. And therefore, all of the treasures of the universe, multiverse, also live deep in the inner sanctum of who we are. We are each a treasure chest of all of the glories of life. Let us now shift the dial of our awareness to this truth and feel the sacred treasure within our soul. Okay, that felt wonderful. Praise be to the Most High for the blessedness of the didgeridoo and the vocal harmonics and the happy holy days. And on this longest night of the year, what now begins to happen is the light is waxing in its strength, meaning increasing in its strength, because each and every day leading up to the summer solstice, the light will grow larger and larger. So it's a symbol of eternal expansion, a symbol of the eternal expansion of the light as we extend from here in the winter solstice all the way 6 months down the road into the summer solstice, when we will in fact have the longest day of the year. And it is building up into that longest day of the year from this point forward. And so blessed be that, and blessed be the fall and spring equinox, which represent equal lengths of the days and the nights. So there's a great equality of frequency that we encounter at that time. So I'm so grateful for this wonderful opportunity to engage in the stillness and to engage in the letting go of that which no longer serves. This is also a time where many of us will experience some emotional turbulence. You know, many of us chosen to address energies that need to be balanced, that require emotional upheavals in order to balance it. Because when we find our way to the core of those difficult emotions, then we transform them into pure light and blessedness. And so we align in that way, that we will do that, and by the grace of God, by the grace of Goddess, by the grace of the all that is, we will definitely make this a reality. And gratitude for my altar behind me, the altar in my healing room, my consultation room, where I do healing transmissions, whether in person or virtually, and also do my readings as well. So I'm just grateful for that frequency. I'm grateful that I could share that frequency with you. And if you have any sensitivity about you at all, I know that you can feel the frequency of my altar. So thank you for feeling that, and thank you for receiving the blessing of my altar. Thank you for coming home to who you really are. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for knowing your strength. Thank you for knowing your invincibility, invulnerability, and invisibility onto those things that would attempt to do you harm. Thank you for remembering the love. Thank you for remembering not only to love yourself, but to love every being in the whole of existence, because the loving of every being in the whole of existence is loving your own self by extension. You will never encounter a being in the whole of life that isn't a facet of your own self. Every being that you encounter shows up on the screen of your life but they are projected from the soul projector of you, because you are a hologram of everything. And so every being in all existence lives within you. Every blessing in all existence lives within you. Every creative expression in all existence lives within you. Every resonance of joy and bliss lives within you. And each of us have the power to bring into activation that inner joy, that inner bliss, that inner creative expression, that inner glory of divinity. All is well in the kingdom of this now moment. I am available for intuitive astrological readings, sound healing transmissions with didgeridoo and vocal harmonics. I have a great number of music albums. You can access all of that on my website, Astarius.com, Astarius.com. I'm so grateful for the glory